Okay, class 6-2, it's me, O.C. Woodard. I'm going to give a quick down and dirty class on the operations order. I've got a lot of experience with it. I worked as a contractor for many years. These students would come in and they were teaching us this material, and that's what they were being kind of evaluated on, is their ability to teach. So I sat through this class a whole lot. I don't really give it, but we'll see how it goes. My references here, I've got a Ranger Handbook. This is 2011. There is a more current edition. The operations order stuff doesn't really change. I've got my Field Leaders Evaluation Report too. That's the main thing that we're going to be graded on, so that's kind of what I'm orienting this class towards. I'm going to throw in a couple extra things that I think will probably just help everybody. And I have my op order template. I made this, took me about an hour. I like it, I hope it'll work for me. I'm happy to share it, but it does have a lot of acronyms, so if you don't know the material, it may not be a good fit for you. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump in. The first things that you cover are the area of interest and the area of operations. You're going to get that as part of that larger operations order. You don't need to change that. You don't need to do anything to it. The area of interest is everything in the area that's going to affect you. The area of operations is where you're actually going to be going. So you may have things that are outside of your area of operations. You're not physically going to go there, but things there could affect your mission. The acronym for that is CAR, Close Air Support Artillery Reinforcements. Those are things that the enemy can have that are kind of not where you're going to be, but you need to be aware of them. Going straight into terrain, we've got the acronym OPORD. We talked about it in class. Obstacles, avenues of approach, key terrain, observation, fields of fire, cover and concealment. The big thing is like how they affect the mission. If it doesn't affect the mission, you may not really need to say anything about it. You may not have any proper obstacles. There may not, if you're just out in the swamp, there's probably not any key terrain. Just address it so the grader knows that you know it's there. The next thing is weather. The acronym is VWPCT. Visibility, wind, precipitation, cloud, temperature. A lot of those don't have much effect. Wind, okay, cool, we're using smoke grenades. Yeah, wind will have an effect. Precipitation, whether it's raining, the temperature, people want to know that. The big thing is effects on you and effects on the enemy. If you're sneaking up on guys and it's 20 degrees and pouring down rain and they have a place to take shelter, they'll probably hang out in the shelter. Moving on, the next one's enemy. Composition, disposition, strength. Real world, you would do most recent activities. I don't see that on the FLER. Composition, what they are. Is it a rifle squad? Is it some terrorists? Disposition, where they are. Strength, normally, and for small stuff, we would say, okay, it's a team of 2 to 5. If you were operating against a conventional unit, you might say, like, okay, they're at 50% strength, because we've been beating them pretty good. The 2 most important things for enemy are your most likely course of action. That's what is the enemy most likely to do when you make contact with them. And then you also want to talk about what is the most dangerous course of action. What is the worst thing that he can do for you and the safety of your men? And you got to be realistic. You know, he's probably not going to have like a suitcase nuke out in the woods. But you want to address those things, and then you talk about what you're going to do to mitigate those. You can't just say, yeah, the enemy, they might run around and flank us and shoot us all. Well, how are you going to keep that from happening? That's what you want to kind of address there. Friendly, first you go 1 level up. So for us, that would be platoon. Next would be 2 levels up, that's company. Probably going to be the same mission as the platoon. That way everybody kind of knows what's going on around us. Civil considerations, civilians on the battlefield. If you have any special conditions for dealing with them. Attachments and detachments. Do we have guys from another unit? Do we have like a dog team or EOD guys or whatever else? Because you want to make sure that everybody knows that they're there with you, they're included in the planning, they're included in rehearsals. Same with detachments. Is one of your teams detached to some other platoon and they're not available, so everybody needs to know that. Mission, pretty simple, 5 W's. You're going to say it twice. It should sound something like who we are, what we're doing, usually when, so no later than, blah, 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 vicinity of, where, in order to, and then why. And there's a list of tactical tasks, and there's a certain vocabulary to it. When we learn it, cool, we'll learn it. Until then, do your best. And of course you say mission again, just to kind of make sure everybody's on the same sheet of music. Execution, concept of the operation, this is broad strokes. This is, we're going to leave the base, we're going to walk towards the objective, we're going to halt, do an ORP, leaders recon, come back, do our battle drill. Once everybody's kind of got that once around the world, then you go into your detailed scheme of maneuver. This is going to be, we're going to leave the base, we're going to head this distance, this direction, we're going to halt, we're going to form an ORP. This person, this person, this person are going on the leaders recon. This is the really detailed so that everybody can kind of hear where they're supposed to be in any particular part of the mission. It's not in here, but it does need to be addressed, contingencies. What ifs? A great one, what if we take a casualty on the objective? It's kind of a standard thing, but you probably want to say it again. All these what ifs, and you don't want to go crazy with it, but mention a few likely things that could easily happen. That way, if they do happen, cool, everybody knows what's going on. Not a big deal. Scheme of fires, some of the lanes we've talked about have, you might want to free-range artillery targets. This is where you talk about that procedure. For our purposes, it's going to be where your TRP is and some sort of rationale for why it's there. Task to subordinate units. This is where you're going to kind of designate who's going to be assault, who's going to be support by fire. They should already know from the detailed scheme of maneuver. You also want to make sure you mention your special teams, EPW search, aid and litter, and demo. Everybody needs to know, when you yell for EPW search, they should know already. Pretty self-explanatory. Coordinating instructions. This is kind of any additional information that everybody needs to know. For example, for our battle drills, fire control measures. How are we going to signal that shift and lift to the machine gun? Our next one is priority intelligence requirements. These are things that leadership needs to know. A lot of leaders don't like you to top the radio net too much, but these are things that, okay, if we take a casualty, you need to tell the leadership right away. Rules of engagement. This is pretty self-explanatory. It's probably going to be directed much, much higher than platoon or company. You want to make sure everybody knows what reports you're going to send. This is primarily for your RTO. He needs to keep platoon and company informed of what's going on. So you kind of want to talk to him about, hey, when this happens, send in a report. When that happens, send in a report. Timeline. It sounds self-explanatory, but you need to let people know when they need to be, where they need to be, and any uniform and equipment items that might be out of the ordinary. Let's say you need smoke grenades or whistles or whatever for signaling. Make sure everybody knows. Pushing on to sustainment. Logistics, pretty self-explanatory for 6 lanes. Probably not much going on there. Personnel, the same thing. Medical. This is kind of the important part of sustainment for our purposes. Make sure you note where the CCP is. That's the casualty collection point. That's people who are wounded. We're going to bring them to this casualty collection point. There'll be medical personnel there. From there, we can call in our 911, do whatever. But everybody needs to know where you're supposed to take that casualty. Our last paragraph, command and signal, location of the command post, succession of command. Okay, squad leader goes down, assault team leader takes over. He goes down, support by fire team leader takes over. That kind of thing. This is also our call signs. Higher up is, Bravo 1-6, we are Bravo 1-3. Any others, and especially any support assets, if you have anything under fires or ISR or anything like that. Then you do your challenge, password, number combination, running password. We've covered that a lot of times. Then you're going to ask for questions, and then you're going to back brief, make sure everybody knows what's going on. And I know I just talked a lot, but when you do these things, when you get that order from platoon, it's really going to have almost everything except the execution and mission. Paragraph 1, that's all going to come from higher. Paragraphs 3 and 4 and 5 are going to come from higher. So really, you need to take that mission that you get when they read their task to subordinate units under paragraph 3. You're going to hear your squad, and then you're going to take that, and then you're going to write a mission, and then you're going to come up with a plan. If you made it this far, I hope this was helpful. Obviously, I'm into this stuff. If you want to talk to me about it, if you want to point out something I did wrong, hey, that's great. Goes without saying, if cadre tells you something different than something I told you, go with cadre. And if you really want to nerd out on the operations order, I'll post a link in the comments to a huge paper that talks about the history of it and how other countries do it and the rationale for the order and all this other stuff. So thank you for listening.